I mean, first and foremost, as someone who grew up in Mississippi, okay, it's a poor state, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Public funds there, particularly when they're appropriated to help the people of Mississippi. I want to know how you would feel, okay, as a native, seeing money like that goes to build a volleyball building, help out the volleyball team at Southern Miss, which, by the way, and the person involved, Brett Favre, made $138 million just in career earnings, okay? That's not counting any of his endorsement money, both during his playing days and afterward, or any of his investments or anything else. Instead, Brett Favre uses his star power, it appears here, to draw funds away from a welfare fund to build a volleyball stadium. Rather, he could have, frankly, I think personally, Brett Favre probably could have just taken that money out of his own pocket, said, name the building after me. Let's just build it. $8 million. I think I can cover that.
Well, yeah. Well, let's just speak in legalese. Like Brett Favre and we're from the poorest state in the country. And I think everyone knows that. It's always on the national headlines. But more importantly, I think this just speaks to that good old boy system that we're accustomed to seeing all over the country, all over the world for that matter. And, you know, it's just disappointing that he took advantage of that, because Brett Favre is from the same area that I'm from. Like, we played against his high school. They were our rivals. And so he has grown up around poor Black people. He's grown up around poor white people. And so it's not one of those things where it's just like this racial dynamic. It's a thing where it's a cultural dynamic where you have someone who was raised in this system, somehow in some way was always just kind of able to rise above like all the things that happened to him. Once like he retired, everyone just looked at him. I mean, especially like in the state of Mississippi, I mean, Brett Favre can't do any wrong. Now, if you talk to some people down from our area, there are a lot of people that love Brett Favre. There's a statue up in front of the stadium. But then there's some other folks who know like how he was in high school and how he was in college and may feel a certain kind of way about some of the things that have been said about him and how he's kind of perceived on a national light. But ultimately, this is just a totally bad situation. You hate to see it happen. And you hope that now in this day and age that there's people that would try to hold him accountable. Whereas like in the past years and decades before, people would do this all the time. And it seemed like you'd just be able to go scot-free, you know, kind of let it blow over for a half a year or so. And then you just go right back to doing whatever you wanted to do before.
I think it's interesting because, you know, you talk about maybe how he's perceived during his career versus how he's perceived now. And what I think is interesting is he does not look like a good person to me. He does not. I don't know any way you can see the litany of things that Brett Favre has allegedly been involved in, this included, and walk away thinking, this is a great guy.